Welcome to Writing Video 1. This week, you are going to begin to write a research report. We're going to look at what makes a good report. We're going to work on our ideas. We're going to explore some topics and start planning a research report and do a little pre-writing this week. There will be no final draft to your writing. So, what makes a great research report? Well, let me tell you. I've got the info, okay? So, what makes a great research report? An opening that introduces the main idea. Okay? Each section of a great research report tells about a different main idea and related supporting details, and each section should have a heading that describes what it's about. Another thing that makes a great research report is that it gives facts and not opinions, and they're found in reliable sources. You also have information from sources written in your own words. They're not copied from the source. They are in your own word. And then the closing of a great research report sums up the main idea. So let's look at this projectable. Let's first look at the introduction, facts, and details sections, and then the key idea and example. So this is our prompt, and this is something you should start thinking about. Write a brief composition about your favorite animal. Use information from print and online sources. Include definitions and quotations. So this model for writing a research report is done on a goldfish. And here are the headings that describe what each section is about that they were talking about. Okay, so here's a heading, where goldfish come from. We have another heading, lifespan of a goldfish, and another heading, goldfish as pets. Okay, so here's our introduction. One of the most common fish kept as household pets is the goldfish. It was domesticated as an aquarium fish. There's our first fact. Okay, but our introduction just is an overall, this is the most common pet fish. Okay, it was domesticated as an aquarium fish. The goldfish is part of the carp family. Okay, there's facts and details. The carp are oily freshwater fish that are often gold or orange in color. Goldfish originally came from Asia, another interesting fact, and they were first brought to Europe in the late 1800s. Great facts and details, great introduction. Let's read the next section. Because goldfish are commonly kept in a fishbowl, they do not live as long as they would in the wild. Okay, that's the key idea of the lifespan of a goldfish. And then an example is that some household goldfish can live 6 to 8 years, but many live shorter time than that. Okay, so our key idea is that they don't live as long, and our example is how many years most will live. Okay, then we have goldfish as pets. When keeping a goldfish as a pet, make sure to keep the water clean and at a consistent temperature. This may help the goldfish live longer. According to goldfish expert Josh Gildeen, a goldfish can be a charming pet that can live for years. So let's look at that final paragraph. Okay, we see that the heading says goldfish as pets. And we see the quotation from Josh Gildeen that says a goldfish can be a charming pet that can live for years. Okay? That is a great quotation to include in the closing of this research report. All right, so we have lots of examples. We have a concluding paragraph. So let's break it down and look at this next slide. Okay, so here are our headings. We already identified those. We have the definition of a carp. Okay, that's part of our facts and details. Our concluding paragraph is here. Tells us some ways that we might help our fish live longer. And the research report ends with a wonderful quote from Josh Gildeen. Okay, now, good research report includes interesting, accurate information about a topic. You can be accurate in your writing by using sources that are factual, reliable, and ones that are up to date. We're not going to use a book that was written 15 years ago if it's a topic or research has been done on it and it's not a current piece of information. So here are some interesting connections to Owen and Mazzei. Okay. One of the sources for the location of Kenya was an atlas. Facts about hippos, where they live and what they eat. The source was an encyclopedia. There were articles about many of those topics. The news about Owen and Mazzei was a newspaper or magazine articles. And online resources like websites, news articles, and video blogs helped them find news, videos, photos, and observations about the animals and then the people who cared for them. So that's just a quick example of sources and the information they provided in a connection to your anchor text this week. Here is just an example of a source and information chart. It is on page 324 in your reader's notebook. Our focus trait is ideas and finding the best information. So think about these sources and some of the information you could find with these sources. We want to find the best information to include in our research report. Okay, we want the best and most current information that's available. So let's work on 1 through 3. It says to answer the following questions about using sources to find the best information. Okay, so Maggie is researching tortoises and she wants to answer the question, where do tortoises live? Which source could Maggie use? Okay, we want to where it lives. Okay, one of the sources that Maggie could use would be a nonfiction book. This is a facts about places. Okay, she could also use an atlas. Okay, but she would need the information from the nonfiction book to be able to find where the tortoise lives in the atlas. So what other question could she answer by using a nonfiction book? What else could she find out about tortoises? Maybe how big they are? Okay, or how long do they live, or what do they eat? How long do they live? Okay, so those are all things that you could use a nonfiction source for. Okay, with your learning adult, talk about numbers 2 and 3 together and figure out which source would be the best, and then what other question could be answered by that exact same source.